What's going on, Bills fans? This is a Bills latest. We're brought to you by FanArc. Let's talk a little bit about some potential wide receiver prospects coming in through the draft. Big name floating around, Jordan Tyson. Good when he's healthy. Great almost when he's healthy. Good body, over 6 foot, over 200 pounds. Kind of exactly what we're looking for, right? But comes with a catch. Blown out ACL, blown out MCL, blown out PCL in 2022. That's our first round pick. A guy whose knee is holding on to a thread. This is who we think is the top prospect wide receiver wide out in this draft. We shouldn't even say that. At our picking at 26th. That's insane. We are really hitting the point of reaching now. We're grabbing for guys who have one good knee. One good knee. I just don't understand how a guy like this even gets on a radar. If this guy is taken with the 26th overall pick, that's a reach. A guy with this kind of injury history is going to fall. Problem is, you don't have a second round pick where he would most likely fall. So now you got to reach, overpay compared to a second rounder for a guy, again, who has one good knee. He has one good knee. Sure, the knee happened in 2022 with Colorado. However, it happened. Why has nobody re-signed Tyreek Hill, a proven commodity in the NFL? Some could say because of attitude. Most understand it's because of that gruesome knee injury he just had. Speed is one of those things you either have it or you don't. You can gain a little bit, but in general, you're either a fast human or you're not. You can work on technique a little bit, but you either have it or you don't. So why would all these GMs be hesitant with Tyreek Hill, who has done it for seasons? Because he's a speed guy. Because he just blew out his knee. So I don't understand why you would blow a pick on a guy with a blown out knee. A reconstructed knee. You're seeing the problems Kincaid is having with just one of these knee injuries that just lingers throughout the whole season. And that's a bigger body in Kincaid. So talk about a reach. I would be so furious if I was a Bills fan and they took Jordan Tyson. If you take him in the third round, love it. Absolutely love it. But the first round, absolutely not. Absolutely not. To me, there really isn't a wide receiver out there in this draft that I would take in that 26th spot. I would wait. I would definitely wait. And if this guy is somehow available, if Ruben Bain is somehow available, that's the guy I'm taking. He literally has everything except the arms. Apparently, he has T-Rex arms. His arms are a little bit shorter, but I don't know about anybody else. I watched him wreak havoc at Miami. He was constantly getting pressure to that QB. Small arms or not, this guy is a beast. He just runs through you. He looked like a grown man playing with kids out there. But the problem with Ruben Bain is I don't think he falls. I don't think he falls this far to the 26th. Again, though, if he does, man, That's a pick. Swap them in and out with Chubb and Leonard's new defense. That's starting to that could be the start of the turnaround for the defense. A cornerstone piece like a Ruben Bain. Again, that's if he lives up to all the hype and potential, which I think he seems pretty pro ready. With how he dominated the college game, it almost looked effortless. A lot of that has to do with his power and size, for sure. Guy's fast, gets around the big guy. He can run right around you, too. He could either go through you or around you. These are the kind of athletes we're going to need. Because you got to remember, we got Burrow, Jackson, Mahomes, all same division. That's just to get to the Super Bowl. So if we can contain those guys and get pressure on those kind of quarterbacks, that's just more possessions for the offense, which we know regardless if we have a wide receiver or not, we're going to put up points. The real question with the wide receiver comes in crunch time when everybody is pretty much locked down completely. Can you make a play? We need that guy that can make a play. But on the defensive side of the ball, Ruben Bain could lock that thing down. Him and Chubb could generate a decent amount of pressure. Sure, there's still going to be some other holes to fill, to plug and play. But again, my biggest worry with Ruben Bain is he just doesn't fall far enough. And I don't really think we don't really have the assets to move up either. So we're kind of hamstrung when it comes to our pick position. We could probably trade that 26 and move back, maybe move up a spot or two if you package some of these draft picks. But the biggest thing is going to be, will he fall that far? And if he does, it's kind of a no-brainer to me. It's absolutely a no-brainer. Because again, and I've said it, this 26th pick in the first round is kind of it's basically a second round pick. It's basically a second round pick. And I've heard a couple rumors, again, trading just up a spot for Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver out of A&M. I don't know. He's healthy. He's got that over Tyson, but Tyson's a bigger body. Tyson is going to be more on the outside. Concepcion, he can work on the outside. He can do some punt returns, but he's more of a slot guy, and we already have that. We have two of those in DJ Moore and Shakir. That's why I was so big on, man, Mike Evans would have been huge. Just a guy to run straight down the field, throw it up. That's where if you could get Tyson in for a workout and the knee looks okay, I don't think any of these wide receivers are worth grabbing in the first round as far as where our pick is at 26. Tate out of Ohio State, he'll be gone. Those are the Njigbas of the world, the guys that are breakouts. At this spot, at 26, man, it is such a gamble. Such a gamble. That's why I'm curious if Bean is still trying to work on bringing in a proven veteran. Because bringing in that proven vet just takes so much headache out of the way. You know what to expect. They've been around. They've seen playbooks. Even if it's not your playbook, they have seen NFL plays. They acclimate a lot earlier. They contribute typically a lot earlier. It's very rare you get those Malik Neighbors, Njigbas. Those are usually gone before probably the 7th pick. Those guys are gone. So they're not going to be able to pull off a super stud wide receiver out of this draft. Because they don't have the firepower to move up into the draft. They can move up a spot or two, but they're not moving up into the top 10. So it's going to be real questionable. And I'm very curious to see what we do with this 26 overall pick. If I had a feeling it's going to get packaged. I'm leaning towards it's gonna get packaged just again because it is a borderline second round pick. And if you could package it and kind of, I don't know, if you get an additional second round pick, you basically get 2 second rounds for this first round. I would be interested. I'd be very, very interested. Giving up this in a third round for 2 second rounds, be very interested. You could get more depth that way and not have to wait around and hope and pray that a guy is still on the board. So there's a couple of ways to skin this cat. It's just how does Bean want to build this team? What does he, Brady, Leonard, where do they think they need to spend? And hopefully he's communicating with those guys saying, "Hey, this is what we're looking into. This is who we're thinking about. What do you think?" Because you don't know with Bean. You really don't know with Bean. You think he's going to do one thing, and he just gets sandbagged. He gets dominated in all trade negotiations. Again, the guy was ripped by GMs for literally giving a second round pick for DJ Moore, who was going to get cut. So there's that. But I'd love to hear from Bills fans, Bills Mafia. It's been very slow up until now, and it'll probably stay slow up until the draft. At this point, you won't see too much. Maybe a week before the draft, you'll start hearing some more rumblings. But I'm very curious to say, I don't think that this team is much better than last year's, and I want your opinion. Do you guys think Bean is doing a great job? Do you think Brady was the right move? Do you think Leonard was the right hire at defense? A lot of question marks surrounding this team who was supposed to be in a Super Bowl window, and still, you technically are because you have Josh Allen. Any team that has Josh Allen, the Super Bowl is an option. Because again, he's one of the few quarterbacks that can win a game all by himself. There isn't many of those out there. But I'm just a little worried with the lack of firepower in the draft and so many holes to fill that this is going to be a tough offseason. This is rebuilding without rebuilding, if that makes any sense. So we'll see where it goes, but that has been it for today's Bills latest, folks. Again, we are brought to you by FanArc. We hope you hit that like and subscribe button down below. It helps us tremendously. Feel free to comment. We love it. And again, we'll be back with more stuff for you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much.